The first place we went was Mackinac Island, which is up at the point in Michigan. And there was a haunted, it had at one time, at the turn of the century, it had been a boarding house for workers who came to work on the island. And there had been a suicide there, and it had been told by some of the workers that were staying there now that this ghostly woman would come in and scare the bejeebers out of them. And so my daughter said, let's go. And I said, okay. So we go up there, and all of my writing had been so beautiful. The only ugly words I had ever heard in my life were from Flora's Awful Richard. And I sat down in front of that house, and it starts to write, go to hell, lady. And I told my daughter, I wouldn't take this from anybody living. I'm sure as heck not going to take it from some darn ghost. And she said, no, Mom, you're stronger than that. You're stronger than that. Keep it up. Tell her we love her. So we're there. We tell her, don't be afraid of us. We love you. We accept you. And whatever is bothering you can be forgiven. You can go to the light, and where there is love and peace, and just look toward the light. Well, then she gave us her story. And it seems that at the turn of the century, when a young lady became pregnant before she was married, she was called a whore. Her mother called her a whore. And the guy who was the, I'll say perpetrator, he abandoned her. He was probably already married, she thought. And so we did continue to talk to her, and pretty soon we were getting beautiful messages from her, thanking us that we didn't condemn her. The next place we went was Niagara-on-the-Lake, and the Canadian side of the Niagara Falls. And my daughter had said, I found a ghost, and he lives in this place called the Old Angler's Inn, I think, Old Angel Inn. And people who go there to eat or sleep, and he bothers them all the time. And she said, let's go. I said, okay. So we go and we sit in this restaurant. Now here I had been keeping this thing a big secret. We're in a restaurant full of people. And my daughter brought her friend Adrian with her. And we're sitting at this table, and I'm down there doing this, and the girls are like this, and people are, what's going on over at that table? And it was hilarious. This guy wasn't mean, but he was funny. He was flirting with those girls, 2 single girls. And they thought it was funny. But then also, in all of that other writing, I was getting this thing about 7 young men. Well, with 2 single girls and an old mother, the girls said, we each get 3 and you get 1. And I said, okay, if I get the first pick, because I'd rather have 1 good one than 3 that aren't. And so we laughed and joked about it for a couple of days, and Adrienne had wanted to walk through the graveyard because she felt like she was doing a little genealogy, and she thought maybe she could find some ancestors that she thought had lived in that area. So we're walking, and Adrienne and I the 3 of us are walking together, and all of a sudden my daughter Cindy, she takes off, like leaving us in her wake. And we couldn't figure out what it was, and we walked around the corner, and there were the graves of 7 young men who died in 1874 aboard a yacht out there in I guess it's the Niagara River. And they wrote a story too, which is also contained in my book.